I have everything I put on my vision board. The MBA program, the life in countryside rural Japan, 2 thriving kids. So why do I hesitate to call myself happy? This question has been bothering me a lot lately, but here's something I've learned in pondering it. We've been taught to set smart goals, and when we enter spirituality, we're taught to manifest outcomes. But nobody warned us that the goals we're setting, the things we're manifesting, might not actually be aligned with the feeling that we're after. It might even be a misinterpretation of what our soul is really asking for. So today I'm going to share with you why I think that modern goal setting is kind of leaving us spiritually unfulfilled, some ancient wisdom and modern design techniques to get through it, and if you stick around, I have a ritual for you to try at the end that I think will help change things. I'm Bree, welcome to the Work Witch. Okay, we're gonna start by talking about what goal setting actually does to us energetically. So when we set a goal, whether it's getting a promotion or moving house, we're essentially saying, I'll be happy when da-da-da-da. And this doesn't lead us to a good place. Like, I have this thing where when I have a goal that I've been thinking about for a long time and I feel ready to commit to it, my habit is that I will get like the best pen I have, or maybe sometimes go buy a new pen, get a really nice fresh notebook with pretty pages, and I'm going to write that goal down, and I'm going to write it in beautiful handwriting, and it's going to come true because it's beautiful and fresh and my intention is strong, and there's this like emotional release that comes from writing it and seeing it written down so beautifully. But that catharsis, it doesn't hold. And I realize this because right now I'm grappling with this question of where this feeling of not that I'm unhappy, but I wouldn't jump to say that I'm fully happy and actualized, right? And so going back through all of my magical journals, all of my books of mirrors, and seeing that I've gone through this process so many times of writing something down and feeling so committed, and then even it coming true sometimes not, but sometimes being really well manifested, and still not feeling satisfied. Like, what is up with that? There's this advice that's been floating around for years, maybe you've seen it, about when you have resolutions for your New Year's resolutions or goals or projects, whatever, not to share them with anyone. Don't tell anyone about them. Because when you do, you get this like social emotional dopamine hit where they're really supportive and they ask questions and they're really happy for you. And that's really fulfilling. You can say, I'm going to quit my job next year, or I'm starting an herb business, or I'm writing a book, and you just get bombarded with happy things. Obviously, as magical people, we also know people might want to sabotage you if you're really public about your goals. The evil eye can be very real. But more commonly, actually, we just get a lot of positive feedback. And that is enough. Our cup is filled. We're satisfied. We don't have a drive to earn the social emotional validation or hit or support by completing the thing. And so the common advice is not to share what your goals or projects are until they're nearly done or completely done. I think the thing that's in common with my notebooks and with this common advice is that the goal setting becomes the achievement rather than the work itself. And I would call this destination obsession. It's always out there. We need to get somewhere. We're going. We're not enjoying the journey. And it's like this vicious cycle, right? Where the goal, the destination becomes where happiness is, and your self-actualization, your sense of fulfillment is dependent upon it coming to pass, right? And then when it doesn't, or the emotional things that you were hoping to get from it coming to pass don't come to pass, you respond with trying to set better goals, with trying to set smarter goals, or manifesting differently. So here's the reframe I want to give you. Something that studying ancient Egyptian spirituality has taught me from a physical, spiritual, ancestral, magical, multi-dimensional angle is we aren't meant to worship achievements, right? Like, take the pyramids, actually. A lot of people look at the pyramids as this feat of human achievement, but what did it symbolize? It symbolized death. right? It was a marker, the tomb of great pharaohs who have transformed into the spirit realm. We are not meant to worship achievement. What we really worship as human beings is transformation. That's why the seasonal cycle speaks so well to us. And we find so much peace in the seasons and in the land. Every great myth or monument, legend, battle, victories, these are essentially stories, right? They are stories that we love. The monument of the pyramids, the monument statues that we put up, they are symbols of a story. And the story is somebody or some group of people getting from here to there, of overcoming so many challenges, sometimes absolutely sublime ones or impossibly hard ones. Going through trials and challenges to make something happen or to arrive at a place or to become something. And that's what we are so obsessed with. Even in our movies, right? And the books that we read, even the way that you should be posting to social media to grow your account is showing transformation and story and being vulnerable. And I think this is really exemplified in Khepri, the scarab beetle, who represents Ra in the morning, the rising sun. He is a dung beetle. Okay, the sun comes out of the shit. But is that not the most applicable thing for us? That our whole charge in life is to work with what we have, to take what's been given to us, the shit, the dirt, the muck, the gunk, and to literally push it forward into something meaningful. And the scarab is such a beautiful distillation of that idea. Creating from imperfect conditions, choosing life over giving up. I think that's what we aspire to. That's what inspires us. That's what we strive for. That's what we worship. That's where our magic wants to flow. So what is goal setting, if not an attempt by us to articulate the transformation that we're trying to seek in our own lives? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about design, because I think this is really useful for us. There's this principle in design thinking that changed my life, both professionally, at work, but in my life. The idea is that you do not design for an optimal experience, you design away from the bad ones. And the reason for that is that optimal experiences are subjective. People are going to have very different ideas of what's perfect and what's good. And so no one person is going to have the perspective that encapsulates what everyone will love or like. Even things that are really popular aren't liked by everybody, right? But difficult or negative experiences are pretty universally shared. And so designing away from the friction, designing away from the negative experiences can yield a better result that benefits the all. Now, you might be thinking, Brie, I'm one person. My subjective nature is all I need. And I would argue that's not true. I think, and this is one reason I don't love the whole be authentically you, bring your whole self to work thing, is we are so many different people in one. The version of myself that I give to my parents is different than the version of myself I give to my children as a parent. The version I give to my colleagues as a manager or as a leader, as a peer, as a mentor, as a coach, they're all authentically me. Each of them, who I am as a wife, a friend, a neighbor. They're all me, but I'm taking different aspects of who I am and putting them in the driver's seat for those contexts and situations. And that does not include mood changes, hormonal shifts, seasonal depression, anxiety, the general dynamism of being an organic living being who is changing all the time, right? The things that I think are aesthetically pleasing right now are different than what I thought was aesthetically pleasing a year ago. I just changed the curtains in my office to a very different color. I would never have bought these curtains a year ago, but now I like them. We change, we're different. And so your goals, when you set them, you might feel like a very strong intention or a very strong emotional release when you write them down, but maybe they won't hold all year long for your resolutions, right? Maybe they won't hold for a whole season even. So maybe it makes sense instead to think about what we want to get or gain or achieve What do we want to remove and design away from? So, removing obstacles, witchy stuff, that goes hand in hand. When I was asking myself this question in the last few weeks, the two things that came up for me about why I have everything I wrote down, but I'm not happy, is two things. One, impermanence. We don't own our home, and the job my husband has is a 3-year contract. I would really like to be in a place where I feel like the neighbors I'm getting to know are going to stay my neighbors for a decade. That the kids that my kids are going to school with are going to be their classmates for the next decade. I didn't realize how important roots were to me right now. And not having them is leading to my general feeling of like, I'm content, but not happy. The other one was time. If you know my story, I left my job last year, over a year ago, about a year and a half ago almost. And I really was excited about this time being an opportunity for me to focus on academics and being a mom. In reality, I'm a busy bee. I love having projects. So I've picked up a lot of things that I've just said yes to, a lot of different things. We are witches. We protect energy. We create sacred space. So what does that mean? What did I do with these insights? What can you do with yours? As you think about the things that you might want to design away from, and I will give you that ritual in a second, you have to start designing away from the friction. So in my case, with the time one, really easy. I've just been saying no to everything new and getting prepared to say no to the existing things next and starting to close off some of my current obligations that I've signed up for. And that's hard. Just yesterday, I had an opportunity to be an editor on a project that I actually would have jumped on at any other time. And I started to write, the yes email and had to make myself pull back because frankly, as much as I love being an editor on creative projects, I need to give that energy to my clients, and that's who I need to focus on. For the impermanence, another easy one, we're just not entertaining job opportunities that are contract roles. If you know anything about the Japanese job market, lots of contract jobs. Permanent roles are harder and harder to find, and we're just not entertaining that because we know that it just doesn't serve what we want. So what I want you to notice about me and what I'm saying here is that these are not things I'm trying to manifest. We're not trying to manifest a permanent job in a specific city. We're not trying to manifest me having this list of things going on. It's about protecting energy and space and what we need to remove or step away from, what we know doesn't serve us. And I think that phrase we hear a lot of, like, I release what does not serve me. We hear it ad nauseum and it doesn't hit the same way because I think what that actually means is not something that we always know how to act on. So we just say it as like, okay, I release what does not serve me. And that means all of the opportunities that are going to suck me dry are just not going to show up, right? Like, no, you need to actively follow through on that spoken intention. Okay, the ritual, I promise, because we're almost done. I don't have a good name for this. I'm going to call it the inner sun ritual. And I'm going to call it that because I feel like happiness and self-actualization to me are very solar expressions. And your goal setting right now is probably giving you too much shade. You need a little bit more light to be coming out of your chest. So we're going to just call it an inner sun ritual. For now, if you have a better idea for a name, please let me know. I will let you use your discretion about when you want to do this. If you're a new moon girly, a full moon girly, a morning sun girly, a dusk girly, whatever, you do you. You're going to need a candle. I'll also let you choose your own candle color. I think, color is another subjective thing. Whatever color to you symbolizes. If you want to prioritize self-actualization and who you are and clarity in yourself, maybe a yellow or a white. But if you want to prioritize sucking away things that are eating too much at you and holding you back, maybe black would be a good choice, but I'll let you decide your colors. You're also going to need a journal and a pen, or paper and pen, and you're going to need about 20 minutes of quiet time. So here's what you're going to do. Step 1, I want you to light your candle and just take 3 deep breaths. I want you to notice the room around you, feel the chair beneath you, the air on your skin, the weight of the pen in your hand. This is you. You are here. You are alive. It is now. And then I want you to say out loud or in your mind a greeting to whoever you trust in the spirit realm. This could be your higher self, your ancestors, a goddess you work with. I wrote down a few examples you could use. I welcome Sekhmet, goddess of healing, to help me see clearly what keeps me from glowing like the sun. I welcome my higher self to help me widen my gaze to the story of my life. I call upon Aphrodite, lover of smiles, to help me see where joy is leaking from my life. Use your own words. The important thing here is that it's personal and meaningful to you, not performing, So if you prefer a more poetic language, do that, if that gets you tapped in. If you prefer to just get to the point, speak in a way that feels like a real invitation to whoever you trust in the spirit realm, whether it's higher self or otherwise. All right, so for step 2, I want you to then close your eyes, or you can soften your gaze and kind of gaze into your candle for a moment. I want you to name or write down a few things that you are currently grateful for. They don't need to be big. It could be, I'm grateful for this candle, or my cat, or the fact that I'm trying new things. Grateful for the plants in your house, just breathe and let that gratitude of 3 concrete things settle into you. So for me right now, it might be, I'm grateful for the weather today. It's the perfect temperature. I am grateful for my children today. They have just been making me laugh a lot. And I'm grateful for the art on my walls. I finally got some art put up on the walls in my office, and it just makes it feel like home. Those would be my 3 concrete things. As that gratitude settles, I want you to ask yourself, if you were to be happy, what would be different? I want you to just free write for like 10 minutes. Step 4 is when you're done writing for a while about what would be different, I want you to go back through what you wrote and either circle things that are actively removal language or reframe what you wrote into removal language. Okay, so here are a few examples. I wouldn't be working 40 hours a week is a removal. I'd have more time with my kids. That's a reframe. I would remove overtime or meetings or commute or chores. I'd feel financially secure. That could be removal of impulse spending or lifestyle inflation or trying to keep up with others or DoorDash, who knows. I'd be more creative. A reframe could be removing constant content consumption or cell phone time and doom scrolling or busy work. Please spend a few minutes framing them as removals, because that's kind of the core of the idea here. So once you've done all that, I want you to look at all the things that you've reframed and look at which one thing, just one. We're not here to overwhelm you, okay? Pick one thing that you want to design away from this month. In my case, time is a big one for me. And I realized I was coping with my stress about having little time by being on my phone. And those little 15 minutes between other things really add up. I am removing the time sink of my cell phone from my life for a while. I'm designing away from phone use in my day-to-day routine. Sometimes my phone is in a different room. Sometimes it's downstairs when I'm upstairs. Sometimes I just leave it in the car. Sometimes I've been letting it die. Anyway, my point is, once you've decided which one you want to work with, you can start to sort of think about how you might want to design away from it, but you can also do that after the ritual. So to close the ritual, you want to, before you blow out your candle or extinguish your candle, I prefer to use the little snuffer. I want you to say something like, I am grateful for this opportunity to protect my light. I'm grateful for this opportunity to write my own story. I welcome the joy that wants to flow from me into my life, and I will make space for that. And so it is, blessed be, whatever your preferred lingo is. And then put out your candle. So try this ritual this week. Let me know what works, what doesn't, if it's effective for you to reframe goal setting as like removing crap from your life. If this is effective for you, let me know. It's been doing wonders for me in the last couple months, really, where I can't believe I'm, in my 30s and I finally going through all my journals and my books and mirrors and realizing now this awful pattern I'm in of like just trying to like intent and manifest harder when actually I needed to completely adjust my language around what I wanted. So yeah, if this is something that helps you, I'd be really interested to hear the outcome for you. And if you have a better name for this little practice, let me know. The whole point is that you feel more fulfilled. The whole point is that you have your energy back, your spark back, that you feel like, the future is up for grabs and you're going to help write the story. You can also find me on Threads, where I've been a lot lately. I do have Pocket Witch sessions available if you are interested in working with me over the period of 3 months, where I will be in your pocket throwing fairy dust at you and creating rituals and journal prompts and practices for you, like literally your Pocket Witch for 3 months, to help you with whatever it is that you are embarking on, your career transition, starting your business, writing your book, whatever it might be, like your bigger ambition. If you need a little magical fairy dust in it, I'm your girl. You can check out Pocket Witch if you're interested in that. Otherwise, I also have a newsletter, Enchanted Ambitions, where I talk about all these things and have all kinds of free, tips and rituals and resources and occasional anti-capitalist ranting. So if that's interesting to you, you can sign up for that. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Don't let anybody get on your nerves. Okay, we're calm, we're protected, we're focused, we're driven. We're removing the nerves. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.